So Forest have £116 million burning a hole in Marinakis' wallet. And the question on my mind right now is, what is Marinakis going to spend it on? And I'm going to give you a list of players that I think he should go after. Welcome to my shopping list. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to my shopping list. Coming up, I'm going to take you through some players that I think can help push Forest forward. Now, before I do that, well, firstly, make sure you've liked, subscribed, you know the drill. But no one's going to replace Anderson. So whatever names I put on this, I don't want to see in the comments, yeah, but Anderson is better. I know Anderson is better. But Anderson is gone. Well, nearly gone. Medical passed, so on and so forth. Expected announcement. So this list is going to be about who I think maybe Forest can fill some holes in. Because I look at the team and I still think we need wingers desperately. We obviously need an Anderson replacement. What we're doing up front, Chris Wood 34 and all this stuff. So I've got a couple of striker names for you. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do the defenders just because, to be honest, doing defenders and goalkeepers are a bit boring. I think maybe we need one centre back. We definitely need some cover on the right hand side for if Einar gets injured, etc. So yeah, I want to keep it to the fun stuff, the attacking side, the midfield side, the stuff that I want to see Forest progress into. So I'm going to give you a list of 6 players. Let me know your thoughts on them. Maybe you guys like them, maybe you don't. Let me know if you think they'll fit. And in the comments, let me know who would be your #1 target, because there's definitely players I've missed. And I'll be honest with you, I'll say it off the bat, this ain't the most exciting list, right? I haven't got an Mbappe there, I haven't got a Yamal there or anything like that. I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible, or at least the potential, if Forest pushed hard for it, could probably get it. So let's get into it. I'll start with the easy one that you guys, spoiler alert, already know I would love to see at Forest, and that is of course Thuram from Juventus. Now we already know Forest are linked with him. Going to cost what, 45-50 million pounds to get him in. He's ready for the Premier League. He can be in that double pivot in midfield and he can work, right? I don't want to spend too much time on him because I could talk about him for hours, how good I think he is. Will Forest get this one? I think there's a medium chance we could, because we're already linked with him. Talks of him and other clubs and links and that have died down. So potentially if Marinakis wants, Marinakis can get. So that's one of the first names. Now, I want to go through the wingers first, right? Because I've got some names here. And this is a name I brought to you guys last summer. And I still think this guy is a player. In fact, I think he scored for Norway the other day in the World Cup. So I'm going to go for Nusa. Nusa is a quality player. There's talks of potential moves, but no real clubs are pushing for him. I think money talks in this deal. I think he is perfect for us on the wing. Skillful, great dribbler, can finish as well. He's got all the attributes I like in a winger, and I want to see him at the City ground. Do I think it could happen? I think it would cost around £43 million, £45 million, around that mark to get it done. I think there's a medium chance because there's none of the quote-unquote elite clubs that are currently pushing for him. Some have been linked, but this guy will be perfect. In fact, he's probably right up there on my list. The other winger that I'd like to see Forest go for, and this is me trying to be a bit more sensible in terms of let's look for Premier League experience. Let's look for a player who is definitely available for a transfer. And that is Somerville from West Ham. Now, West Ham have just sold Fernandes to Spurs. I can't believe Spurs. £85 million. They will still be selling some other players because those players want to showcase themselves in the Premier League, not the Championship. Somerville would be another perfect choice for Forest. He started to score goals for West Ham. In fact, single-handedly, he was scoring goals and getting them points at some points during last season and nearly kept them up. How much would it cost? I reckon in and around £50 million. I think West Ham are laughing that they pulled Spurs' pants down for £85 million on Fernandes. Therefore, maybe a deal could be struck on Somerville. Do I think there's a big chance of it? I'm going to say it's low because I haven't seen any recent links for Forest and Somerville, although we were linked with him in the past before he went to West Ham, and there was talks on and off while he was at West Ham as well last summer, if I remember rightly. But I would love to see him there. A cheap-ish one to do. And I'm going to put this down as low probability because the parent club won't want to loan him out currently. And I hate this guy, but I just think he works because he does everything that I think we're missing. He's a ball hogger. He shoots on sight. He's got an ego. He's got an attitude. If he didn't play for this club, I'd probably really like him. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Marcus Rashford. Now, by the market valuation, he's currently worth £40 million. He's in his final year, if I'm not mistaken, at Manchester United. Excuse me. He was at Barcelona on loan. They didn't take the option. They decided to go for Flash Gordon. And I think Forest, I wouldn't want to buy him. I would want to loan him. I would say to Man U, we'll take him off your hands. You know what I'm saying? You pay the wages or half the wages because the fee isn't even the issue. Forest could afford £40 million. It's about the wages. Now, there is talks that Rashford would be willing to take a pay cut, but there is also talks that he's trying to reintegrate back into the Man U camp. I've heard all these kind of stories. So I think this is a low one, but I actually think he's what we need. And I still think he has a lot to offer. And I think he gets slated a bit too much. And yeah, I'm probably part of that crowd that does it. But I would take him. So those would be the wingers I go for. Now, I'm also going to put a cam in here. And this is a cam that I've been keeping an eye on from a distance because I think there's a player in him. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Manzambi. This is the Swiss international. He plays as a cam. Very good, very techie. And I think a deal could be done in the low 40s, maybe high 30s for him. Now, look, you're going to be like, whoa, hold on. Gibbs White, Cam, he's just been in the hottest form of his life. So what are you going to do? You're going to kick him out? No. My point here is that Gibbs White, for me, was cooking last season when he moved into that inside left position and left a spot there for like a McAtee to step in. But Manzambi can come in and play that cam role and play it really well. And again, he's been doing really good, I think, in the World Cup. And I think about £40 million is where we are with this one. There are no links. By the way, none of these players necessarily are linked to Forest or anything like that. This is just my shopping list on attacking players. I want techie players. I want pacey players. I want players that can actually score a goal. And by the way, that's another reason I'd have Rashford because at least he can take a free kick. So, Manzambi, I think there's a medium chance. No one's really linked with him at the moment. Maybe you guys have seen him or not seen him, but would anyone go for him as a little kind of wild card there? And then we need a striker. And I've looked through this striker market. I would like Mr. Blobby from Sunderland. I can't see that deal being done. I mean, if Forest wanted him, obviously would get him. But the one I'm looking at and thinking there could be a deal to be done there. And this is a player that I think most of the fan base from that club would happily let him go. And that's Visser. Visser's been a long-term link to Forest. I know he's now past 30. That doesn't mean he's crap. I know he had a bad season at Newcastle. That doesn't mean he's crap. If he's in an environment where he's comfortable in, where he feels like he's the main man, he can still produce. He's actually been doing really well in the World Cup this summer. And obviously against England coming up as well. So I would love to see this one happen. And the other reason for it is the versatility. Visser can play up front and he can play on the wings as well. So if you wanted to say Chris Wood was fit, you could play Chris Wood up front, Visser on the right, Nusa on the left. I like the sound of that. Gibbs White in behind. Manzambi, coming on as an impact sub. Starting to get options there. Forest, you just need to let me get in charge of the recruitment, seriously. So Visser would probably, I think, cost about £30 million. Newcastle would definitely be willing to do a deal with him. And, we got Chris Wood from there. But we did get John Joe Shelvey as well. So I think Visser, for me, is a sensible one to do. Prem proven, good experience, scored loads of goals at Brentford. This one could potentially happen if, of course, Forest is still interested in him. So look, that's my shopping list. Like I said, it's not the most outlandish one I've ever done, although I'm sure some of you will find reasons to argue it in the comments. But let me know who would be top of your shopping list. Do that in the comments and make sure you've liked and subscribed, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.